Now, some of you, rather than going activity by activity and doing 3 different plates on each one, may want to just run through one of the plates that's due. So let me do that for the mechanical right now. You can see that I have downloaded my mechanical exemplar and I've downloaded my plate. So I have those both available for me and as references. Okay, so I'm not going to show you all this as we go through. I'm just going to read off what I'm doing and give you a demonstration of plate 4.1, my mechanical drawing all the way through. So here I am, I'm in VMware, and my instructions tell me to create and save a new 8.5 by 11, download my exemplar and open it. So I'll go ahead and do that. I've done that already. So I'm going to open my exemplar. I think they're in here. There's my mechanical exemplar. I'm going to open it. And then it says type DC. DC, I just typed it in. Design Center. This shows up, and I'm going to dock it over to the left. And it says go to Open Drawings. There's Open Drawings. And open a new file and name it 4.1. Well, I've already got this one open. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to open that one up. And I'm going to File, Save As. Plate 4.1 mechanical. Plate 4.1 mechanical RS demo. That way I know which one I'm working on. Okay, so now I need to add the Mech A layout. So from my open drawings here, make this a little bit bigger so I can see everything. Okay, so from my exemplar, I'll go to my layouts and add Mech A. There it is. I just drag and drop, and I'm going to remove the others. Delete. Yes, I can delete it, and right click. That was a right click, delete. There we go. So that's activity 1.1. Let's go to activity 2.1, which says to customize your layout. Add general notes. Those are in the blocks. So here we are. There's general notes. I hold my left button down, drag it into place. A little bit off on the size. So I'll put it there, and it says you can just leave all that stuff there. Okay, so I may need to change that up a little bit later, but for right now, that's going to be okay. Add my mechanical, well, I am going to have to move those. So let's move those a little bit. Put my general notes up here. And now I need to add my standard tolerances. I just dragged it and brought it in. Those are all fine. Don't worry about little things. That's what you're given. That's what you're going to work with. And add the mechanical revision table. Now to do that, you're going to do the title. I have to move this one more time. And then the items. Okay, so now I've got my mechanical A revision table, my mechanical tolerances, and my general notes. And you don't have to know anything about those except that they just exist and they're there. Go to model space and set the units for inches. Units. Decimal, precision, inches, they're already set. I'm okay. And now I'm going to use the geometry layer. Let's see if it's even in here. It's not in here. So I need to set it up. Those are in layers, geometry. Drag it in. It says to use it, so I'll make it current. I just click on it. It's showing in that box, it's current. Okay, and now I'm going to draw it. So now I'm to the point, and this is a bracket, and I'm going to just give you some ways that you can do that. Okay, I see a rectangle that is 3.75 wide by 1.85 tall. So I know that that's where my front view is going to fit. Personally, I usually explode that after I've done my rectangle. Let me just give you a little bit of a preview of what I'm going to do. I'm going to offset 0.4, offset 0.4, offset 2, offset 0.4. I'm going to use the offset command a lot to get those, and then I'm going to trim away what I don't want. Okay, so here we go. Offset 0.4. Sorry, I got to get back into AutoCAD. There we go. Offset 0.4. Offsets down. Offsets up. Offset 2. Offset 0.4. Not typing very clearly right now. Now I've got a whole bunch of trimming to do. There's that kind of Z shape. And now I can get rid of some of these other ones too. I just used those to give me something to look at while I was going. Now I see the bottom corner is an offset of 0.4. And then that there's a line drawn at a 45-degree angle. That's how you get that line. Okay, so that's got most of it. It's got all but this little piece. I don't know that angle, but I do know where it is. I know that these right here are this because they line up. So it's over 0.4 and over 0.8. Whoop. Gotta get myself into the right thing. Offset 0.4. And offset 0.8. Now those are hidden lines. I don't have hidden lines in here. Back to my layers and find hidden. Watch this cool thing now. I'm going to highlight those, go up to my selector and go hidden, and I've got them. So I can change them as I go. And now I know this little bracket goes from the corner right up to there. Got it. Now let's take a look at my line weights. I want to make sure that my line weights list in inches. There we go. That's what that should look like. Now I'm going to turn them off. Okay, so there's the front view. Now I'm going to make a couple more views. I like construction lines, so I'm going to pull one in, and I'm going to use that now. And I'm going to draw straight up. And over, and that's where I'm going to place my top view. And I see that that is a rectangle. That is 3.75 wide by 2 tall. That's where my top view is going to go. And I see a chamfer of 45 degrees. So I'm going to do the distance method, because they're each 0.4. It tells me that 0.4, enter, 0.4, enter. And I see a chamfer on the back edge. And I see another one on the back edge. And I see that this corner has to be a line. I can go up and draw a line. And that this has to be a line. Has to be some feature along that line. And some feature along that line. That's kind of cool. And the cutout, which is going to go right here, watch what I'm going to do. So I just made this feature, that's 0.4 and that's 0.6. So I can do some offsets and then start trimming. Probably have to explode it first. Here's explode. Yep. Offset 0.4. Now again, I'm going to trim away what I don't want. I don't want all that excess stuff. And then this one is 0.6, 0.4 plus 0.2. Offset, another 0.2. And some more trim. There are lots of other ways to go about doing this. You see a different way you'd like to do it, you may. Now I see what's called a hidden line. This line represents this surface. You can't see it from the top because it's blocked. So I draw it as a hidden line. This, two little lines here, is this bracket. So let me do those. Those are called hidden lines. And I just line it up. That's the beauty. Well, I'll just draw the whole thing. There we go. And trim. Now, where do these go? It's 0.8 in and then 0.4. I can draw in 0.8. and then offset 0.4. And get rid of my extra stuff. I see I have a few little pieces still to trim out. And you notice I draw stuff and then I get rid of it. You can also just what we call turn it off. That's okay. So now here's the tricky part. Where is this little line at the back of the they call that a rib. It's straight up from this point where the rib comes down and hits. Orthographics say you go straight up. Let me draw a little construction line there. And then the actual object line, which is on geometry, goes right over to it. Now I have my top view. That's actually all I want you to do. I don't want you to do the right side view. I just want the front and the top views. Okay, so now I need to save that work. Let's see what's up next on my list of instructions. Okay, so go to Paper Space, select the depth points layer, create a viewport, set the scale at 1 to 1. This, I might need to do something with this. I think it's going to be in the way. So I'm just going to get it out of the way for a moment, and I'll show you what to do with that in a little bit. So a viewport, the depth points layer, there it is. I set it current so it's looking in there. Go to layout, rectangular. It is, and I want to see if I can get that to fit at 1 equals 1. Oop, you get that back over here and go 1 equals 1. So I'm not quite seeing everything. I need to bring this down a little bit. There we go. Those are really just a little bit too far apart. Let me come back to my model and move that a little bit closer. Everything's still lined up. That looks a lot better. Double click inside. Put my mouse wheel down. I've got a very funny mouse wheel that just keeps blinking out on me here. There. That's going to fit just fine. So I want to lock it. Create a viewport, set the viewport, lock it. Okay, so now I need to add my dimensions. So I'm going to go to my dim text, and I want something called mechanical XX. Dim style, there it is. I'm going to drag it in. Now let's see how I get that to be current. I have to click this little tiny annotation button, go to the little button next to standard, and say I want to use XX. There we go. And now I can start putting on my information. Okay, so I need to come back over to here and get my plate up again. There we go. And I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm on my dim text, linear, and for sure I need to get my overall dimensions. 1.85, that's good. I hit enter, it redoes the same one. Here we go, there's my 0.4. Enter. 2.0. Enter. 3.75. I'm going to have to move these apart just a little bit more. I'm gonna undo those. There's a way to do it where I can do it later on, but that's okay. And I'm gonna move my front view down just a hair and my top view up just a little bit. There we go. So let's try those again. Linear. There's my overall. There's my 0.4. There's my 2. My 3.75. And I'm not going to do all these. I'm just giving you the parts that kind of need to be spelled out for you. There's a 0.4. And look, they won't always end up in the right place. You can click on it and move it over. And then there's a 0.8, I think. Try to get to line up really well. Here is a 0.4. Try to get it to line up really well, and so on and so forth. So now we've got one last thing to do, which is to get those general notes into the right place, and it's a block reference. So I'm going to explode that block reference, and I'm just going to, well, no, I won't. Let's just not bother with that. I'll rewrite those so they fit just a little bit better. They don't quite fit where I'd like them to fit. Okay, so I'll rewrite those notes for you so they fit better, but those will all fit on there. Okay, so now our last thing to do, lock the viewport, add dimensions in paper space as shown, and that's it. I'm ready. It's done. So now I can save it. Only thing is, this will be different for you. It'll show up better over here. You also do not do the isometric view, and you don't write all those little notes that are on the template, on the plate. Okay? That's what it should look like when you're done. Okay, don't worry that that's on a different layer. The layers aren't all perfectly consistent. You don't have to worry about that. It will all come in for you. Let's do a print preview to make sure that it's going to look okay. Adobe looks okay. There it is. Pretty good looking drawing. There are still some things to correct, but that's what we want to do in the future. Okay, you've got it. That's plate 4.1.